everybody, and welcome back to Gainzzz. So last week's sleep tip focused on consumption in a 2 and 2 method, where we decided to stop our caffeine intake after 2 p.m. and stop our food consumption any later than 2 hours before our bedtime. Unfortunately, this tip did not end up working out for about half of us because 2 of us were struggling with RLS, and another person just wasn't typically a caffeine consumer, so this tip just didn't really affect that person to begin with. As for the other half of us though, I actually was one of the people who this tip worked for, and it did help me get a better quality of sleep. And I noticed some very weird changes with that. So I was actually ready to get up in the mornings, which was kind of odd for me. Usually I really have to drag myself out of bed. And another thing was that whenever I would try to take a nap during the day, sometimes I actually wouldn't even be able to fall asleep. And that is completely bizarre for me as someone who normally feels like they need naps just about every single day. So considering that this tip was beneficial for half of us while the other half either did not have any reason to feel affected by it or they were struggling with RLS, I would say that this tip still ends up being very effective, and I would highly recommend it. Now, for this week's sleep tip, I am going to ask all of my test subjects, please pay close attention to this one because this is different than what it actually says on your chart. Originally, the tip was to raise your core body temperature before bedtime, but recently I've seen a lot of articles coming out discounting that, discrediting that kind of sleep advice, and actually telling you the opposite. Instead, you should be cooling your body off before you go to sleep. And basically the reason for this is because it is actually normal for your body's temperature to drop while you're sleeping. And so when you first wake up in the morning, your body should be about at the lowest temperature that it ever is at. Whereas whenever you raise your body temperature, it has more of an energizing effect. And that kind of makes sense because your body temperature is going to rise after you work out or something like that, and you will definitely feel more awake. So I'm sure this comes as quite a relief to all of my test subjects who might have thought that they were supposed to be raising their body temperature in this incredibly hot triple-digit Texas heat. So you guys actually get a nice little break from that. Instead, we are going to be lowering those temperatures and getting much more comfortable before we go to bed. There are a few ways that you can achieve a lower body temperature right before going to bed. One of those ways, of course, is to turn down the thermostat in your house. If you turn it down by about 5 degrees, that should make a significant enough difference to help cool you down really well during the night. Another way is to turn on the fan in your bedroom if you have one, or if not, you can just bring one of those portable fans in there and set it up on like a box or nightstand or something, and have the air at least blowing somewhat on you to help keep you cool. The third way that you can cool yourself down is to take a cool shower before you go to bed. And if you don't want to get fully wet and naked and have to do the whole changing clothes and stuff, to me that's just exhausting. I never want to do that. If you don't want to go through all of that mess, something that really helps me is to actually just put cold water on my feet, just rinse them off and just let them kind of feel cooled down. And then I just kind of loosely pat them dry, so maybe they're still a little tiny bit damp, and that usually actually helps to cool me down plenty. So that's it, short and sweet. All I'm asking of you guys this week is just to cool yourselves down before bed. So good luck. And thank you for visiting my citrusy sanctuary. Peace out.